Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. Hope you guys are doing well. We have a rainy day here, and we'll see. Hopefully it gets a little bit nicer with all the rain. I don't like the rain too much. I like snow, but I don't like the rain too much. So thank you for all the subscriptions, comments, likes. Great questions, great ideas, and we're going to keep focusing on these. We have some more of our profiles coming up pretty soon. I call them profiles in masculinity, and we'll continue doing those. I think we'll take John Wayne, another person from the past and movies, and concentrate on that person, and then take Gandhi and a few other people as we go along, and continue doing these all every week to see if we can kind of focus on observing behaviors that look very masculine in energy. Also, we're going to kind of finish up our discussion. We still have a few chapters left of Think and Grow Rich, and then we'll tackle another book. I think I'll do the Fountain of Youth book, and keep going from there. But once again, we have lots of great comments and ideas. This one I came across as I was talking about another video, and I wanted to talk about this one a little bit because this is one that is interesting. And what you can tell by it is the fact that sometimes we don't realize the world that we're in. And so I'm going to call this is that they are trying to make you dependent on them. Okay? So the name of this one is They Are Trying to Make You Dependent. Now, who are we talking about here? Well, first, before I say that, subscribe, like, comment, do all those kind of things to help me a little bit here. But who is the person, or who are the people who are trying to make you dependent? Well, there's two types of things that I want to talk about with this. One is that people really want your attention, first of all. Now, they get attention in lots of different ways. You were talking about female attraction. Females, there's a high demand. Females want attention. This is one of the key things that they strive. It's almost like it's an addictive type of drug for a lot of females, that they want attention. And so they validation, attention, whatever you want to call this is something they want. So they are going to keep a person around that gives them validation once in a while and does that. Now, we've talked about strategies and things, how to work with that so you're not losing your energy and wasting a lot of time. There's ways that you can actually have a balance in which you're not losing a lot of your energy and drama and those type of things, but you're also giving validation and attention to your wife or girlfriend or someone new that you really care a lot about. I mean, I think it's a real win-win situation. You want to give them what they need, of course, but you also want to make sure that you're not losing too much of energy and not getting it back in return. Guys, relationships come down to give and take. If you're giving more than you're taking and you're not happy with that, well, then you should be out of that relationship. If, on the other hand, you're in a situation where you're getting a lot and you're not giving as much, well, you need to think about that a little bit, because it needs to be a balance, and that's the whole thing. So that's the key to the whole thing. So attention is the first thing. So people are going to try to make you dependent on them because they want attention. They want you to always give them attention. Now, the other part of this is they also want to make money. All right. Now, sometimes people do both, but in a lot of cases, people basically want to make money. So you look at what we're talking about here. We're talking about things in society that stop you from thinking and using your free will and conditioning you to basically going ahead and doing things that are for someone else's either attention or making money, productivity. So what are we talking about here? Well, let's look at the drug industry. I personally think, as I've gone older, that you should use less and less drugs, not more and more drugs. But I know people who, over the years, and my dad was like this too, had 7 pills every day in the morning. There was a common assumption that we've been brainwashed with, that science, and I've been in science for many years, is always correct, right? That science is going to definitely help you. And there's no doubt that innovations and technology can help people. There's no doubt about that. All you got to do is look at Christian Science and a lot of things that they mix science with God, and God uses science as a tool. But is it the end all? No. And I think you have to realize that your body is a lot more complex, mysterious, and wonderful than you think it is. And I go back to just the beard itself. You know, there's a lot of research that says you create a lot of vitamin D, and that it's a very good thing for you, instead of people thinking, well, a beard looks messy, and I know I don't look the best of myself, but I don't care at this point. The idea is that you really want to go ahead and be the best person you can be, and be healthy, right? You want to go ahead and be healthy. So I believe, and I haven't been sick in a long, long time, even with this situation we've had out there, with all these, you know, all this thing going on with all these different viruses and things like that. I have not been sick, and I haven't been sick for many years. And the idea is that and it's actually been heightened because of the journey I'm on. I mean, I feel even stronger now, but I didn't really have that much problem when I was doing the Fountain of Youth exercises back, you know, as well. And I think a lot of it is that you have internal things within you. They call it herd immunity. You're able to fight off things, I think, if you let your body do that. But if you weaken your body, the too many drugs and things like that, you end up going bad. I remember the thing we did on Bela Lugosi, right? He had a morphine addiction, and he was doing that for 20 years, and no wonder he was succumbing to other types of illnesses and everything. I just don't believe that you necessarily have to have all the types of drugs that you need. There's side effects to all of those things, and so to do that, you become dependent on the drugs. And that's one aspect. Another one is social media, of course, right? People become dependent on something like the phone. I mean, I have my students trying to, I try to take my phone away from students, and, you know, in the class, and, you know, maybe they last 5 minutes before they can do it. Then they got to have their phones back. It's almost like they're going to go crazy without the phones. The same thing with the computers. And we're looking at a society, once again, that people are making you dependent. Now, there's an old philosophy that talks about the fact that, you know, if you're in a world, and I go back to these movies and these books. I mean, if you look at The Brave New World by Huxley, and you look at Metropolis, and you look at George Orwell's books, you look at all these type of books, the indication is, and almost like Soylent Green, if you saw that movie, there's a number of them, the Omega Man. If you look at these type of books and movies, you see that there's a common type of theme out there, that all the people who are running things are up here, and they're living normal lives, but in the meantime, they have given all of the other people who are the workers in society, right? They give all those people things to keep them happy and kind of like brainwashed. And I think that happens a lot. And I don't think that's just a movie or a thing. I think those things come out of real types of ideas over the history of mankind. And so the idea, guys, is that you become dependent on going to work, having to make money for the things you want, then coming home, watching TV, internet, keeping your head glued in that thing, and then going to sleep, and you're doing the same thing over and over and over again, right? And the idea is that you lose your ability to have free will. And I think this is a key to it, guys. Now, from a sexual behavior standpoint, same thing, right? You become very addicted to this stuff. And so the addictions is what kills you. And that makes you very dependent on either other people or other things. And you never want to be that kind of person who's dependent. Now, how do you fight these type of things? Well, you have to go ahead and kind of realize that you are dependent. It takes 21 days to build or stop a habit. So if you're dependent on alcohol, you're going to be dependent on that, or you're dependent on drugs, you don't realize you're going to be dependent on that. And the idea is that if you can't live without it, then it's a problem. And so I always recommend taking some time off. Take a few days off from television, right? Take a few days off from your internet and your computer, or at least take a few hours off and start with that and see how that works. And as time goes on, you're going to realize that I don't need this. You know, I don't need the social media. I don't need these type of things, right? I thought I did, but after the first kind of wave of dependence, I'm moving on. The same thing with food, the same thing with all these type of things. And that's why fasting, I think, is very effective. Every so often you say, okay, I don't need to eat food for a few hours. I don't need to eat food for a day or so, right? I went on a 40-day fast with just liquids years and years ago, and it was just tremendous. You know, you get closer, in my feeling, you're closer to God, but you also get to the point where you're also kind of eliminating a lot of those dependent type of things, you need it. You realize you don't need this stuff. You're making a choice. And you don't want to get caught up making that choice and being dependent. So I think it's a very important type of thing, guys, because people in society, I believe it's on purpose. I think people want to make money. If they want to make money, they want to sell products. So I don't care if it's smoking. I don't care if it's drinking. You always notice that the commercials they put out, there's a little fine line saying that, oh, you know, this is dangerous to your health, or call AA, or call, you know, call Alcohol Anonymous if you're in trouble with it, or Gambling Anonymous, all these things, guys. But if it was a higher priority, they wouldn't be selling this on, they wouldn't even be selling the product. Because the product goes against all of that, right? And people don't realize how addictive these type of things are. Now, is it the gambling's fault or the company's? Well, no, not necessarily. They're just putting temptation out like anything else, right? Pictures and things like that. In the long run, we have to control that behavior. Because people are going to find those things no matter what. If they really want to watch pornography, they're going to find it somewhere, right? If they really want to gamble, they'll find it somewhere. If they really want to go ahead and drugs, they're going to find it somewhere. If they want to find women, they're going to find it somewhere. Okay, those type of things you're going to find. If you really want those things. The question you got to answer as you do this journey, guys, you're going to realize, just like Epidicus said, right? The rich person, right? Person becomes rich. Now, I'm not talking about in wealth necessarily. Rich, when they start getting less, their needs become less and less, right? The needs and the wants become less and less, and the wants are almost totally eliminated. So Epidicus is basically saying that as a rich person, you may have only a couple needs, and the needs are things you need to have. The needs go up, the wants go down. You don't need these things anymore, and you don't even want these type of things anymore. And that's when you can tell you're a rich person. All right, guys, we'll come back with another one soon. Until next time, battle on.